Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Actually, I was thinking of talking a little bit more about the talk I gave previously about Junior Haridas and Krishnadas and Balabhadra Bhattacharya and Rantidev. We didn't have much time, there was a lot to cover there. But I looked it up. We were trying to figure out whether Junior Haridas had been in a spiritual body or a Gandhara. So I looked it up. Twice it said that he was in a spiritual body. But it says it resembled a Gandharva, but he was in a spiritual body. So he went back to Godhead. And he was chanting the glories of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna. It's interesting that he, now it appeared like Lord Chaitanya was being being harsh because he had acted inappropriately with a young lady, and he was a sannyasi. So Lord Chaitanya asked him to not be in his presence. And it's interesting that all the devotees went to Lord Chaitanya. It's mentioned that all the devotees went to Lord Chaitanya and begged that he be merciful. And even Paramananda Puri, who is the godbrother of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, Ishvara Puri, he even went on behalf of Junior Haridas. And Lord Chaitanya said, well, you stay here and I'll leave. That's how he was so, as Swarup Damodar said, he's very persistent. Lord Chaitanya is being persistent. So Junior Haridas, he fasted for 3 days. He was so distraught. And then the devotee said, well, he's being persistent now, but just be patient. And Lord Chaitanya is very merciful. He's Patita Pavana, Savior of the most fallen. So, then they said, well, just take prasad and be patient. So then Lord Chaitanya, he would go to the temple every day, and Junior Haridas, he would still see Lord Chaitanya. And of course, Lord Chaitanya, he knows everything. He knew he was there, getting his darshan, but he didn't allow him to be in his presence anymore. So he decided to go to the Triveni, and that's where he left, took his life. But yeah, it's mentioned twice that he attained a spiritual body. And when the devotees, then after 1 year, Lord Chaitanya said, now you can bring Junior Haridas. And devotees said, well, Lord Chaitanya, he left. And what did Lord Chaitanya do? He smiled. He smiled. He said this was appropriate. But this shows his mercy that he got his spiritual body and he went back to Godhead. But the devotees didn't know that. They heard his voice. He was singing. They thought he had taken a ghost body. But Swarup Damodar, no, he was a great devotee. So yeah, he was in his spiritual body. Which means, after he chanted the glories of Lord Chaitanya, he went back to Godhead. So I thought I'd mention that. And also with Krishnadas, he was attracted to the gypsies, Bhattaharis. But it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Balabhadra Bhattacharya, and Junior Haridas, they were the 20, I think it was 22, 23, and 25th of confidential devotees of Lord Chaitanya in Puri. So they weren't ordinary devotees. So they, you know, just to be examples that we have to, even in the association of Lord Chaitanya, one has to be careful. So they picked themselves up and continued on the devotional service. It was Krishnadas, the devotees also, they were really trying to help Krishnadas. So they made arrangements that he would go to Navadvip and inform all the devotees that Lord Chaitanya had returned. So he went to Sachimata. He went to Advaitacharya. So he was, so he was still very much engaged in devotional service. And Bhagavatam also. So this is just a part in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where Lord Chaitanya is letting us know that we have to be very careful. That even in the association of the Supreme Lord, one can have difficulty. And also I wanted to mention about Rantidev. He, he went through that long period of fasting. And then the demigods tested him. But after he gave the water to the Chandala, he made a very powerful statement. He said, Arting papadye kidadeha bhaja antasito yena bhavantu dukkha. He said, I don't want the 8 mystic perfections. I don't want liberation. But I want to be out amongst all the humanities suffering all kinds of inconvenience on their behalf so they can become free of their suffering. Powerful statement. That's a book distribution statement there. I don't want liberation. I don't want the 8 mystic perfections. I want to be out amongst all the humanities suffering all kinds of inconvenience on their behalf so that they can be relieved of their suffering. Very powerful statement by Rantidev. So now we're going to Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharsayo Vaya Samabhagataye. This is 119:18. No, 119:19. Oh, Krishna. You ready?
Yes.
Maharsayo Vaya Samabhagataye.
Maharshyo Vai Samupagataye.
Asasya Sadvit Yanumod Manaha.
Prashasya Sadhu Iti Anumodamana.
Uchu Pachanu Silasara.
Uchu Prajanu Grahashila Sara.
Yat Uttama Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Yaduttama Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Maharsiyo Vai Samabhagataye.
Maharshyo Vai Samupagataye.
Prasasya Sadvit Yanumodamana.
Prashasya Sadhu Iti Anumodamana.
Uchu Pachanu Ungrasila Sara.
Uchu Prajanu Grahashila Sara.
Yat Uttama Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Yat Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Maharsiyo Vai Samabhagataye.
Maharshyo Vai Samupagataye.
Prasasya Sadvit Yanumodamana.
Prashasya Sadhu Iti Anumodamana.
Uchu Prajanu Grasila Sara.
Uchu Prajanu Grahashila Sara.
Yat Uttama Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Yaduttama Shloka Gunabhirupam. Maharshayo vai samupagataye.
Maharshayo vai samupagataye.
Prashasya sadhu iti anumodamana.
Prashasya sadhu
iti anumodamana. Uchuhu prajanugrahashila sara.
Uchu prajanugrahashila sara.
Yat uttama shloka gunabhirupam.
Yaduttama shloka gunabhirupam.
Maharshayo vai samupagataye.
Maharshayo vai samupagataye.
Prashasya sadhu vidya anumanumanaha.
Prashasya sadhu vidyanamodamana.
Uchpachanugrahashila sara.
Uchu prajanugrahashila sara.
Yaruttama shloka gunabhirupam.
Yaduttama shloka gunabhirupam. Maharshaya, the great sages, Vai, as a matter of course, Samupagata, assembled there, yea, those who, Prashasya, by praising, Sadhu, quite all right, iti, thus, Unumodamana, all approving, Uchu, Prajanugraha, doing good to the living being, Silasara, qualitatively powerful, yet, because Uttama Shloka, one who is praised by selected poems, Guna Abhirupam, as beautiful as godly qualities. Translation and purport by Srimad Prabhupada. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Brigid, and they expressed their approval by saying, very good, or they would say, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Dhanya.
Balu?
It's very good.
Mahabalu.
No, bhalo.
Balu. Very good, balu. Naturally, the sages, because sometimes we hear Vaiseshika Maharaj say that, balu. I don't know, what is that, balu? I've never heard that, balu. Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to the common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Brigid, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows. It's a cliffhanger. Purport: the natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by his rising up to the platform of devotional service. Like Prabhupada used to say that before the devotees joined, they even used the word niggardly. This not attractive. Under the modes of nature. But then they become devotees and they become bright-faced. So this is the result of practicing Krishna consciousness. Maharaj Brigid was absorbed in attachment for Lord Krishna. Seeing this, the great sages assembled were very pleased, and they expressed their approval by saying, very good. Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to the common man. And when they see a personality like Maharaj Brigid advance in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds, and they offer all blessings in their power. The devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious that all demigods and sages up to the Lord himself become pleased with the devotee, and therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. All inauspicious matters are removed from the path of a progressive devotee. Meeting all the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious. Imagine you're leaving your body, you got all these sages all over you. Like, I don't know how many there were. There was a lot. It'd be interesting to know how many there were there. Meeting all the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious for Mars Pricket, and thus he was blessed by the so-called curse of a Brahmana boy. Om Gyanatamandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshram Nitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Kotu Vacharam Bhum Mangaite Yat Kripa Taraham Bande Shri Gurum Jivatanam Vanchikapa Jivisya Kripasan Deva Chapatanam Bhagavad Vaishnavesha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I was thinking how this boy, Shringi, after all that went through this past time, he never apologized. He knew he was wrong and he repented, but he never apologized. Now, we don't hear of that, right? He never apologized. When you do something wrong, it's good to apologize. Otherwise, yeah, Krishna's not, he's not pleased. Therefore we have this, whenever there's some friction between devotees, devotees go to one another and they pay obeisances. And so this pretty much, hopefully, clears the way now for nice, friendly relations. But not always. I heard of one instance where the two devotees, they were there was some friction. And one of them, see now, Chris is most pleased with the one that goes first and begs for forgiveness. They both might have been wrong, but Chris is pleased most with the one that goes first. That's humility. So one went there and he paid obeisances, and the other one kicked him. Chris is not pleased with that. So he got some reaction. So yeah, we have to, if there's some friction, that we do something wrong, then we apologize. That's gentlemanly. That's a Vaishnava. And we should apologize to Krishna, because we left Krishna with the intention of being Krishna. Pretty low thing to do. So we should also apologize. Sorry about that, Krishna. We made a big mistake. And now we're paying for it, big time. So now we're trying to correct ourselves. And to correct ourselves, to go back to normal, to be a devotee again, it's a big challenge. Major challenge. Because now we're dealing with the modes of nature. And what does Krishna say about the modes of nature? Daivi hesa gunamaya mama mayadra mama vipapajate maya metamtra. This divine energy of mine, consistent of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. Radhanath Swami was speaking about this verse, and he said this is an understatement. It's very, very, very difficult to overcome. But if someone surrenders unto me, then he can cross. So we have to pray very, very, very sincerely to get over this very, very, very difficult material energy. And man proposes, God disposes. Krishna sees our sincerity, then he reciprocates. He gives himself. To the degree that we give ourselves to Krishna, he gives himself to us. If we're holding back, Krishna will hold back. Like sometimes you see, I've seen it, devotees come and they give, they have the hundi box in front of the altar, the donation box, and sometimes you see devotees getting some return. And sometimes you see people, they give big donation, they come and give $1,008, and you're like, wow, that's cool. But Krishna sees what he's got in the bank. He gave $1,008, but he's got $10 million in the bank. So Krishna's not so impressed. Of course, it's nice to give a donation, but Krishna's also seeing what's being held back. Whereas another person comes, poverty person comes and he's only got $3 to his name, and he gives the whole $3. Krishna's more pleased because he gave everything. So yeah, we have to give everything. Of course, we don't have anything. What do we have? Everything that we have belongs to Krishna. But we have to understand that everything belongs to Krishna. Isavashamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyantiga chena chakyena puja magradha. Everything that exists is owned and controlled by the Lord. Therefore, we should only accept that which we need as a quota, and not accept more, and know it well to whom everything belongs. We don't need much. Therefore, our motto is simple living, high thinking. We don't need much. But people say I remember when I left Miami, I'd been living there for 12 years. When I left Miami, I left with two suitcases, and that was it. We don't have much. But when people leave, when they move from one place to another, they get big moving trucks. Yeah? Not just one, sometimes you got two of them. So much stuff. So much stuff. They think that we need, and I couldn't believe it. There was one devotee, he had moved from Alaska, and he moved into one of the apartments in LA, and his room was packed. I could not believe it. It was just filled. That was like, what? We don't need so much stuff, Just like you go to these Walmart here, this super duper Walmart store. 99% of the stuff there we don't need. We don't need. But just like 100 years ago, nobody had any of that stuff. Listen, 150 years, nobody had any of that stuff. But now we think we have to have this, we have to have that. So many things. We don't need much. But what we do need, we need Krishna. This is what we need the most. And therefore Krishna comes. And he lets us know, this is what we need. We need devotional service. Fortunately, he came and he gave us the message of the Bhagavad Gita and the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we hear nicely, then we'll surrender to Krishna. We'll give our mind, body, and words. Iha yasha hirar darsha karmana manasag nikila jivan mutusushite. That anybody who gives their mind, their body, and their words in the service of Krishna is liberated even within this very lifetime. So to give our mind, we have to think of Krishna. So many things to think of. It's like the mind is so thinking of so many things. But what does Krishna say? Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamastaram tatastato niyamya tat atmanyev. That from wherever the mind wanders, that it's flickering, its unsteady nature, bring it back under control of the self. That's a self with a capital S. We want to be controlled by Krishna. Krishna tells us how to think. Manmanabhavam, always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Like I was talking to one person in New Zealand, and he was telling us how he was a Mormon, and he said they were telling me how I should think, and I didn't respond to that. But then after a while, I thought, oh, wait a second, yeah, we want to be told how to think. Otherwise, we just think all nonsense. Yeah. Otherwise, we just think all kinds of garbage. Yeah. Like people, they want to watch movies and YouTube and scrolling and this and that. They're just controlled by their mind, and it gets filled with all kinds of junk. But Krishna tells you, think of me. And then by this thinking of Krishna, we become free of all the junk. The junk is removed. And we replace the junk with Krishna. His name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes. All this junk gets removed, and we fill it with Krishna. And this is the happiness of the soul. So it's an inner war, just like Arjuna was on the battlefield with Krishna, and they were preparing for a war, good against evil. So we also have our subtle war within, evil against good. Each of us within, there's a battle going on, and we're trying to kill the demoniac mentality. It's like when Lord Chaitanya was going to kill Jagai and Madai, Lord Nityananda stopped him and said, my Lord, in this age, practically everybody is like this. We have to kill the demoniac mentality. So that's what's happening when we practice Krishna consciousness, when we're hearing and we're chanting. Gradually, the material consciousness, as it said in the Bhagavatam, it's dissolved. It's dissolved. The subtle mind, intelligence, the ego, it's all dissolved by the power of Krishna Katha, of hearing about Krishna. So yeah, here Maharaj Pragat, he's so fortunate to be. It's amazing how fortunate it is. Here he's being spoken to by Sukadeva Goswami, who is such a great devotee, and he's got all these great devotees there also. It's amazing. such good fortune. So maybe we should be so fortunate that when we're leaving our body, there are devotees there chanting Hare Krishna. I remember I was in Miami one time, and this devotee we had this big hotel, 8-story hotel, and one devotee was on the stairs, and he had a headset on, he had his beads, and he had a book. I'm like, Prabhu, you're ready to go. Let the bombs fall. You're ready to go. He's like, maybe he chants around, and then he reads for 10 minutes, and then he listens to a 10-minute lecture. He was covered, So, yeah, we had to fill ourselves with Krishna, and we have all this. Krishna gives us all this ammunition to kill the enemy. We got the holy name. Prabhupada's come and give us association. And we got the books. We got in so many ways. We have this, and there's so many devotees now. We have with ISKCON Desire Tree. You can listen to so many devotees. Like there's like thousands of lectures. Take your pick. You know, it's so many. Take your choice of who you want to hear from. So yeah, but we're not only interested in ourselves. Prayena deva munios samyukta kama maunim charanti vajinena parartha nishta. Vladimir said, I'm not interested in only my salvation. I know the people are suffering in this world, therefore I want to not go back alone, but I want to help others. So I could state it here also in this verse. Naturally, the great sages are inclined to do good to the common men. So this is the mood of a devotee, paradukkha-dukkhi. Sees others suffering and it gives pain. Like I was speaking to one person the other day, and I was telling him how this knowledge makes one happy. And he said, well, I'm happy. Okay. So how do you measure happiness? That was a good point. How do you measure happiness? He had a big belly. He said, you can measure my belly. You can see how much I weigh. But how do you measure happiness? You can measure someone's intellect, the IQ, but how do you measure a person's happiness? So I said, well, if you are enthusiastic to help others be happy, that's a sign that you're happy. He couldn't catch that. He said, no, I don't do that. Compassion is not there. So if you have compassion and you try to help others become happy also, that brings happiness. And a devotee sees someone suffering, that gives pain. So a devotee is paradukkha-dukkhi. He feels happiness in seeing others happy. So therefore we go out and we're very happy to see people take books. What to speak of someone becomes a devotee. It brings great joy. So this is the joy of the devotee. And Krishna also. Krishna's very pleased. When he sees us go out and we're doing this austerity, sometimes it's cold out there, wet, austere. So austerity is the wealth of the Brahmins. Krishna is very pleased when he sees his devotee engage in austerity for the benefit of others. Just like Ranti Devi, very interesting statement there. He said, I don't want liberation. I don't want the 6 or the 8 mystic perfections, but I want to be out amongst all types of people suffering all inconvenience for their benefit. So this is a mood of a devotee. And Krishna really, he really appreciates it. And he reciprocates, therefore he reciprocates. Like there was there were some devotees in Europe. It was pouring down rain. Here it doesn't really rain. Here rain means it sprinkles. Of course, sometimes you saw the other night. It was raining pretty good. Really raining, huh? Like if you would have
Tonight, I think the forecast is
also tonight. But in Europe, it like really rains. Same thing in Australia and New Zealand. I mean, it just pours down. So these devotees were in Germany. It was like pouring down. But they really wanted to go on book distribution. So there's one of the devotees said, I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to try. And as soon as he stepped out, the rain stopped. And all the devotees like, wow, look at that. The rain stopped. He's helping us out here. So there's about 4 of them. They all jumped out and distributed books, and they were out there distributing books for like about 5 hours. and not a drop of rain. Then they got back into the van, bam, started pouring down again. Perfect synchronization. Yeah. And Prabhupada said that the demigods also, they help. They like to help the devotees. So I read that like, wow, that's amazing. That's mystical. Yes, devotees, they experience the mystical potency of Krishna. Then you, on book distribution, sometimes it's tough, and then you, Krishna, please help me. And then all of a sudden, nice people just appear. You're like, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so nice to feel the reciprocation of Krishna. And here, Prakrit Maharaj, he's feeling the reciprocation of Krishna. He's getting so much nice association. And what a great preparation. He's leaving his body, and he's got all these sages. He got Sukadeva Goswami. I mean, talking about ready to go. I mean, he's like really ready to go. He's just back home. Grandson of Arjuna, and you got Sukadeva Goswami there is preaching to him. Hopefully we'll have at least be in Vrindavan and have devotees chanting around us. That will be, or Mayapur. So many devotees have left their bodies in this way. So many devotees. Go back and they go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, and they're going back to God, gone back. So it's happening. It's happening. Vita raga bhaya krodha man maya mama pasha. Bhavo jnana tapasa putamad bhavamagata. Krishna says, being free from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me. Many, many persons in the past have become purified by knowledge of me and obtained me. So Krishna, he's in the Bhagavad Gita, he's encouraging us. It's difficult. It's not easy, but it's happening. Many, many, many times in the past it's happened. So it can happen to us also. So Krishna's kind of encouraging us here. Not easy, but possible. We just have to have the determination to carry on, to continue on. Patience, determination, enthusiasm, and Krishna will help us. So maybe I'll leave a few minutes for if there's any comments or questions.
Regarding to the pouring rain, I have a story to share. So this was Christmas Eve, and we wanted to take light in Laguna Beach. It was raining a lot. So I said, okay, let's take an off. But Suvarn Bindu Prabhu said, no, we can't take off. So he said, we'll go to a shop, we'll buy 2 umbrellas, and we'll buy a tablecloth, plastic tablecloth to cover the wagon. So we bought 2 big umbrellas. We bought
to cover the wagon with the books in it.
Yeah, with the books on it. So we still went shop to shop, and Suvarn Bindu Prabhu did the Spanish Bhagavatam set. He met 2 ladies who spoke Spanish, and they were into Maharishi Yogananda. But they wanted to study Vedanta, and he gave them a Spanish Bhagavatam set.
Wow.
And we distributed quite a lot of books that day.
Because in the stores, it's not raining.
Yeah.
And you just got to go from store to store.
They don't have customers either.
And there's no customers. That's another good point. Yeah. Because it's raining. Who's going to come to the store? But the Hare Krishna.
We also met another lady. She was a Jehovah's Witness.
Uh-huh.
And she happily greeted us. She took books. She gave $20 for the books. She said, I wanted to always know about Hare Krishnas, but I didn't have any material. Yes, I'm happy that you came and you gave us. And she was very nice to us.
I got an amazing story too with the Jehovah's Witness. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they're very fearful of the Hare Krishnas. And they preach like anything to the people. Don't spend any time around the Hare Krishnas. Don't Just stay away from them. They're afraid. So one lady, she said, what are they so afraid of? Maybe they have something. Maybe they actually have something. So she met some devotees and got some books, and she was impressed. She was impressed, and I met her, and she bought some books from me also. And I said, just see, they're trying so hard to keep you away from Krishna, but it backfired. Because they're trying so hard, then you start thinking, well, wait a second, they're so concerned about the Hare Krishna. Maybe they actually have something. So she became a closet Hare Krishna. So yeah, some people are afraid of us. Because we do have something much more than others. Interesting. Yeah. So anything else? Anything online? Is the speaker on? Or? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Prabhu ki
Jai.
jai.